The following portion of Daytime is sponsored by Older Lundy, Koch, and Martino.
When parents of minor children are divorcing, one of the most emotional and complex issues to resolve is the amount of time that the children will live with each parent. Joining us to explain how timesharing can be arranged is Michael Lundy, managing partner at Older Lundy, Koch, and Martino. Welcome back. How are you?
Thank you. I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Good. So, Michael, I guess I got to dive right in here. Is the state's position that both parents would receive equal time?
So the law was recently changed, and there's now a legal presumption that parties will have equal time sharing at the beginning of a case, which means that unless there's a really compelling reason to do something else, that is going to be how the case ends up, and it's certainly how every case starts.
Gotcha. Where does the misconception maybe come from? Because I think a lot of people assume that the mom will be the one that gets to have the most time with the kiddo.
Well, I think that comes from a history that is, evolving over time. I think there were a lot more stay-at-home parents back in the day. That typically was the mother, and that has really evolved over time as women have been more equally in the workforce.
Okay, what are some of the criteria or the factors that the court will consider when they're figuring out what the allocation of time will be?
So they'll consider things like the parties' work schedules, travel schedules. If somebody works out of town, that obviously would be a good reason for an equal time sharing schedule maybe to be reconsidered. They'll also consider really serious stuff, substance abuse, domestic violence, and there are a whole list of factors in the Florida statute that the court is supposed to consider if they get to that point.
Are there things that parents could do to improve their odds of getting to have more time with their children?
I think more importantly, I think parents need to just improve their relationships with their children going into any case and work on that. I think being involved, being present, being somebody who participates in all the different activities day to day is probably the best thing you can do.
Okay, and like any other service, I'm sure that not all attorneys are equal in what they're able to provide to an individual. What are some things that make you all stand out?
I think the thing that makes us stand out the most is that we're very, very forthright about expectations, and we're forthright about where we think things are going to go if you fight. We're also very honest about the consequences of fighting. Placing children in the middle of these court battles is terrible for them.
Yeah, and is this something that you all can maybe shorten the time process? Because it seems like, no one wants it to go on too long for themselves or for the kids.
Agreed, and that's something we want as well. The problem in many situations is that you're subject to the calendars of two lawyers, a judge, sometimes experts, sometimes other people, and the parties, and then of course parties' willingness to compromise, right, and put their children first instead of thinking about the things that they want the most.
Yeah, so many factors that go on behind the scenes, but I know that you all are there to help people through every step of the process.
We are.
All right, Michael, thank you so much for being here with us today. And for more information, you can visit olderlundylaw.com or call the number right there on your screen, 813-254-8998. Daytime will be right back.
The preceding portion of Daytime was sponsored by Older Lundy, Koch, and Martino.